Hello everybody and welcome to another video. Now today we're going to be looking at a band called Marrowfields. Not a band I've heard of before, and there's a pretty good reason for that. And tried to do a little bit of research on them, but there's very little information out there about them, unfortunately. And all I could find is the fact that Marrowfields is an atmospheric doom metal band from Fall River, Massachusetts, formed in 2015. That's all I can tell you. Now, the reason I haven't heard of them before is because this track I'm going to look at is actually cut off their first full-length release, which is coming out in April, on April 24th. I'll put links below where you can pre-order it should you be interested in it. So, yeah, I think maybe they've had an EP release before, and this is the first full-length that they're going to be releasing. And we're going to be looking at a track called Birth of the Liberator. Now, people who have watched this channel for a while know that doom metal is one of my favourite genres of metal, possibly my favourite genre of metal. So, I really enjoy my doom. It's been a while since I've heard any good doom metal outside of bands like My Dying Bride, so this should be interesting, a new doom band to look at. So I'm quite looking forward to this and hoping for good results. So I've got lyrics up here which come directly from underneath the video, so I'll be looking at those as we go. Let's jump to it and see what we've got. So, Birth of the Liberator by Marrowfields. Let's have a look. And there we go. That was The Birth of the Liberator by Marrowfields. Now that was very, very interesting. Musically, fantastic. You know, pretty decent doom metal fare so far as music goes. The vocal style really caught me out. That is not what I expected at all. I mean, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's not bad vocal style at all. It's just not at all what I expected, especially with the music as well. You know, the music was heavy. You know, it had that real sort of doom element to it. And then in came these vocals, which to me are more akin to maybe sort of 80s metal, and you know, that sort of thing. It's not what I was expecting at all, but it kind of works. I do think though that maybe they could use a little bit of, you know, mixing up the vocals a bit, you know, rather than just one constant vocal sound. But again, that's just me, because everybody who watches this channel knows that I like when bands switch up their vocal styles, you know, go from one style to another. But you know, that could just be me. But I think it could actually benefit from that, personally. But yeah, I quite liked that. I'd be intrigued to hear the rest of that, because I'd like to see where that goes. And like I said, musically it was phenomenal. Now, the song being called Birth of the Liberator, and looking at the lyrics here, it looks like it could maybe in some way be talking about I'm not going to say direct, it could be talking about a Christ-like figure in some sort of manner. Not like, maybe not him directly, but a similar sort of figure. You know, someone that everybody sort of turns to, and you know, to follow as leader, who will liberate them, as it were. Whether it be liberate them from sins or from slavery or what have you, you know. That's what it seems to be. I could be wrong, because it was quite hard to get a read on this song. But the song goes, "Worthy failures, prayers fall upon godlike ears, prophecies resound through the city of ages. Bellowing screeches a serpent to behold, fangs pierce the earth for all to enter in tow. Lust and adoration, transformation ensues, false love to end life, the liberator is born." Excuse me. So just first couple of lines, you know, "Worthy failures, prayers fall upon godlike ears, prophecies resound through the city of ages." That to me, that's part of what makes me think of this as like a Christ-like figure that they're talking about. You know, worthy failures, prayers fall upon godlike ears. And that's like, you know, people are watching the world fall apart around them. They're seeing all the evils of the people around them, so they're issuing prayers, asking for help, and this is what sort of maybe sparks this godlike figure to give birth to this Christ-like figure to help them, you know, come out of this and liberate them from the evil of the world around them. But again, I might just be reading too much into this, but I could be getting it completely wrong. I don't know, but who, you know. Now, and it says there, "Lust and adoration, transformation ensues, false love to end life, the liberator is born." So, in a way, that's almost like, you know, the Christ child is born, in a way. But not really. And then carries on, "This house is plagued, beautiful in solitude, eyes punished to prey, to be devoured by dogs." And then, this next part, it was actually repeated a couple of times. It says, "Torn between thoughts, one who has both. Foresight compensates the blind, the first prediction." Now, like I said, that was repeated at least 2 or 3 times in the track. Carried on. Where wine is ever flowing, we cannot worship you, a traveller to greatest peaks, to witness the rites of the mad one. Mistaken for the speechless, head and limbs ripped from body, cries resonate to the skies, suffered for transgression. This house is plagued, beautiful in solitude, eyes punished to grey to be devoured by eyes punished to prey, to be devoured by dogs. And then it goes back to that verse that was repeated 2 or 3 times. Torn between thoughts, one who has both. Foresight compensates the blind, the first prediction. So, like I said, it's not necessarily talking about Christ himself, but it seems to be talking about a Christ-like figure who has been born to redeem mankind of sorts. You know, it's what it seems to be. I could be hideously wrong, but it's certainly what it seems to be. But yes, it's a good track. Not at all what I expected. It's an interesting take. Like I said, musically, I really loved it. The music was phenomenal. The vocal style was a surprise. It's not terrible. It's not something that I was expecting, and yeah, not too bad. I would be interested in hearing the rest of that, because yes, I'd like to see where that goes. But yeah, I can't really pluck much more from that song there. So yeah, I think we'll leave that one as it is for the time being. I can't think of much else. So yeah, we'll leave that one as it is. Now, if anybody would like to suggest a track for me to react to, then please do so. By all means, you can drop a comment in the comment section below, or message me on my Facebook or my Instagram, or you can even message me through my Patreon, where you could also help to support this channel, help me create future content, maybe even improve the quality of future content. There is also an option in Patreon where you can get your suggestion jumped to the front of the queue, should you so desire. There are a couple of provisos that go along with that, in order to be fair to other people who suggest tracks through regular means. And if you are suggesting a track through regular means, such as YouTube comments, Facebook or Instagram, it might take me a while to get around to your suggestions, since I get suggested so many new tracks every single day that my list grows faster than I can record the videos. But I do write down every suggestion I get, so it'll get done eventually. It's just going to take me a while to get around to it, unfortunately. Also, Metalhead Reacts is a proud supporter of the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, a British-based charity whose main goal is to put an end to hate crimes, mainly those aimed towards people of the alternative culture. And it's something I believe in very strongly, something I'm very passionate about, because it's something I've had to deal with most of my life, and it's something that gets widely ignored, despite the fact that it happens with such regularity. You know, every day, all around the world, people from the alternative community are getting violently attacked, brutally beaten, just because of their taste in music. You know, and sometimes these people are hospitalised. They're going into hospital with like broken bones, sometimes with even more invasive injuries. But nothing ever gets said or done about it, and that is unacceptable. Every day we hear about all of these other hate crimes like sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia, ableism, what have you. We hear about these hate crimes on a daily basis in all facets of the media. From the most heinous and violent of these crimes, from where someone's got murdered because of the colour of their skin or because of their sexual preference or identity, down to the most petty of these crimes, where an entitled white woman is calling the police because a family of colour are having a picnic in a public area. We hear every point of the spectrum of these hate crimes on a daily basis, but we never, ever hear anything about people that are getting seriously injured, brutally attacked, just because of their taste in music. And the thing is, when this happens, it's always by a group of people. It's always a group of people on one person, always, without fail. And, this never gets spoken about. The last time this was ever spoken about on a wide basis was 12 years ago, when Sophie Lancaster and her boyfriend Rob Maltby were jumped and violently attacked by a group of 5 or 6 people and brutally beaten, violently punched, kicked, and had their heads stamped on so violently that they both ended up in a coma. Now, Rob Maltby, he thankfully survived. He was in a coma for maybe a week or so, I can't remember exactly how long. But Sophie Lancaster was in a coma for 13 days before she succumbed to her injuries. This girl was murdered. This 20-year-old girl was beaten to death just because of her taste in music. And, that's disgusting that that should happen. And like I said, it was a group of people attacking this girl. She actually spent most of the attack trying to protect Rob Maltby because he was unconscious on the floor. So she was taking the brunt of the attack. A group of 5 or 6 lads kicking and stamping on a 20-year-old girl who's trying to protect her unconscious boyfriend. How sick is that? And, this was 12 years ago. This was the last time anything like this was widely spoken about. And, this girl was murdered. But I guarantee you, in the 12 years since that happened, hundreds, if not thousands, of people from the alternative culture community have been attacked in a similar fashion, but nothing has been said. Nothing's been done. Why is this? Because nobody's died. And that is disgusting. It shouldn't take the death of someone for this to be spoken about. It shouldn't need to go that far. What happened to Sophie Lancaster was unacceptable by any stretch of the imagination. There is no good reason to beat someone to death just because you don't like the music they listen to. I mean, she's not forcing you to listen to it. If you don't like the clothes she's wearing, don't look at her. It's really, really simple. There is no excuse for this vicious attack. But it happens all the time and nothing gets done. No one seems to care. It's just because we listen to alternative music doesn't mean we're any less worthy of having justice. One of the guys who killed Sophie Lancaster, was sentenced to life in prison. Since then, he's had his sentence reduced to 15.5 years, then 14.5 years, and now he's due up for parole this month. 12 years. 12 years for cold-blooded murder, for a senseless crime he committed. He killed this girl. He murdered her. He took her life. And he's had his sentence reduced to 12 years because of good behaviour. I don't give a shit how good his behaviour was. He murdered someone. He took this girl's life. And he got sentenced to life. Life in prison should mean life, not, oh, he's not done anything wrong since he's been in prison. I don't care. He murdered someone purely for the fact that they like different music. That is disgusting, pathetic. He should stay in prison and rot until the end of his life, like every other murderer. But no. He's allowed to live the rest of his life as he wishes, even though he's stopped this young woman from ever growing up, from ever having kids, from ever having a life of her own. And it's unacceptable that this happens all the time, and it's unacceptable. We cannot allow this to keep happening. Just because we listen to different music, just because we listen to alternative music, doesn't mean we're any less entitled to the justice we deserve. And this is one of the things Sophie Lancaster Foundation is all about. They want to bring more attention to the fact that this is happening and the fact that it's getting ignored. The fact that people are committing these crimes and essentially just getting away with it. Because they don't want to see what happened to their daughter ever happen again. It should never have happened in the first place. And they certainly don't want to see another family go through what they went through when they had to watch their daughter slowly die over the course of 2 weeks. So, you know, they want to raise awareness of the fact that this is happening. They want more people to start talking about this. They want more people to recognise that this is a real problem. And I think it's very, very important and very, very worthwhile. So if you'd like to find out more about the Sophie Lancaster Foundation, there is a link to their website in the description below. You can go over there, find out what they're working on at the moment, find out what their goal is, because they can explain it a lot better than I can. And they won't go off in a mad, angry rant. But if you can help them in any small way, obviously don't feel obligated to do so, but if you can help them in any way, like a small donation through their website, or even something like one of these Sophie wristbands from their web store, you know, the smallest amount can make the biggest difference. And the sooner we get more people talking about this, the sooner we can help to stamp out prejudice, hatred, and intolerance everywhere. But I'm going to leave that as it is for the time being. Thank you all very, very much for watching, and I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.